Hey everybody, welcome back to the agency. I'm Wandering Kid. I want to thank everybody for their comments on the last episode, recommendations and things like that about how to build this out a little better. But just so everybody knows, I'm trying to do this in one launch, partially for the challenge. I realized I could launch this stuff in a bunch of small rockets and just eventually rendezvous it 400 times and get everything refueled. I'm being a little stubborn on this one, so yeah, I admit it. Fuzzy One actually dropped a design out, which actually looks kind of neat, but I'm not going to go with that. I've got a different design set up that I've been thinking about, and as Bjorn pointed out, I probably could have just transferred some fuel in the payload out to the engines and finished what I needed to do on one of those launches, particularly with the original refueler that I sent up last. I was just really frustrated with the fact that the front tanks didn't pop off the way I wanted, things like that. I was just a little, well, stubborn. So we have the refueling launcher 4, and as you can tell, a lot happens on stage 2. Short version, long story. I got 12 S1 KRBs, I'm sorry, S1 SRBs, the KD25Ks. We've got 4 orange tanks after that, and an asparagus staging build. 2 of the engines are mainsails, they'll be the ones we run under the longest. 2 of them are skippers, just to help keep the weight of their own tanks up, and to keep our TWR in something reasonable. And then we have our payload. In theory, I have 5200 Delta V. In reality, that's going to be the question. Let's go see how Rendezvous looks. So, after a little time warping, Rendezvous looks semi-decent. Let's go see if the refueling launcher 4 can make it to space. Okay, now that I think I got my engine sounds straightened out, let's see if we can't get this refueler to space. SAS on. Throttle on maximum. Double check the map. Rendezvous looks good. Let's get our control bar up. Alright. And away we go. Oops. Oh dear. Not good. Damn it. Right. Shepherd-chons are necessary. Let's go deal with that. Rats. Take 2. Eureka! We're in orbit. We're a bit further away from the helm than I had hoped, but we're here. And here we are on final approach to the helm, coming in at a mere 5.4 meters per second. And we'll pull in shortly. So we're 525 meters, well, roughly, away from the helm. And at this point, I'm going to drop the engines before I get too close to the helm. We're going to do the rest of this on RCS, I hope. So, away with the engines. Turn on RCS, we'll get clear of that. So, 39 meters out, we're on final approach to the Ares Helm. I'm going to target that port. I thought I had installed a mod that gave me docking ports. Don't see the thing. Hang on. Here we go. Docking port alignment indicator. New toy. Over here. Alright. Let's see if we can't aim this thing. I have no idea what I'm looking at on this. Alright, that, I believe, is my target. This is where I am. This is how lined up I am. So I need to line up this way. That was overkill. And for the curious, I have tons of RCS left, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay. There we go. Alright, so I think I gotta get this orange one on the crosshair. Once I got that lined up, then it's just a matter of translation. Oh, I think I get it now. Okay. So whichever direction the line's in is the way you need to go. So, like, if I need to go down like this, I can. This is your prograde retrograde marker. Whichever direction that's going in tells you whether you're lined up and continue to be lined up on your target. So now I gotta pull up so that that stops moving. I'll just nudge that down a hair. There we go. Alright, now if I close in, oh, no, I gotta go left a bit. Let me see how this works now. There we go, we're linked up. Refueler is in place. Most excellent. Alright, now, let's get a few things figured out. For starters, let's refuel the tanks. Perfect. Alright, now let's get all our RCS tanks refilled. This is going to take a bit. Sorry, guys. I'll bring it back in a second. Alright, the Ares Helm is fully refueled. All of our monoprop containers are filled back up. We're going to undock this. Turn on RCS. SAS. Back it off a bit. Now we'll just deorbit it. So there's a few things I want to do next. First off is I've got a bunch of Kerbals up on the Ares Helm I want to bring down so that they can XP. This whole you've got to land and come back to fort for experience seems weird to me, but alright, whatever. Next up on the Ares Helm, I want to send up two small drone controls with a little bit of monoprop on them so that we can realign the engines and see if we can't get a better seating for those docking ports. Finally, I need to send up a new pair of wolves. Alright, let's see which one we're going to do first. So I have 7 Kerbals up on the Ares Helm. This particular craft only has room for 6. Call it the taxi cab for the moment. It's a 21.2 ton craft. It has 955 Delta V once in orbit. I want to create an action group on a board. Toggle my engines and the ram air intakes. There. Since I don't have any other better action groups to use at the moment, well, run with that one. It's got some monoprop, it's got a docking port in the middle, it's got a crew cabin and a two-person cockpit up in front. I've buried a couple of batteries and a Octo 2 in the fuselage here somewhere. It's got some solar panels and what I think is everything it needs, so we're going to go give it a test flight. Okay, it sits decently. Turn on the lights. SAS seems to function. Engines will spool up. Oh, let's see how she does. Takes off reasonably well. Let's kill the lights for a second. Can take her out and see how she does on landing. I don't have Kerr on it. That's something I'd like. It's got decent pitch authority. Let's see, how's yaw behaving? I'm not quite sure I like how that yaw is behaving either. Alright, let's see how she comes in for a landing. Yep, I'm purposely trying to run it short. Yeah, alright. We're gonna have to really bring that throttle down. Alright, let's go out and come back for another pass. Alright, we're down. Yeah, this will work. Just a couple of quick modifications. So, a couple of things. One, we wanted Kerr on this. That's easy enough to do. Get in there. Now, we also wanted to adjust these, because I didn't like how they were acting. Yeah, that should be a bit sleeker. Let's make sure I haven't thrown center of mass and liftoff horribly. No, we're still good. Alright. We'll save that off. Let's make sure nobody climbed in the cockpit when I wasn't looking. Good. Alright. Now, let's go see if we can't rendezvous and bring our crew home. SAS is on. We have no Kerbals. Port shuts down engines properly. Let's go to space. So I didn't want to bore you with the let's get over 10K timing. So at this point, I'm actually fighting to keep my nose up. Doesn't really want to stay where I put it. It's acting like I'm getting a flame out. Yeah, I got flame out. That was a very early flame out. Wow. Keep going that way. There we go. Okay, not good. I'm in a flat spin. Now I know I put these things on correctly. I put 2 and then 1, 2 and then 1. This is nasty. Yeah, I'm in a complete flat spin here, almost completely out of control. Let's kill the engines. Let's see if we can just stop our spin. Alright. I think I got this thing back under control. That was nasty. Yeah, I definitely need to get more pitch control. The canards on the front are trying. I think I might be short on lift, actually, now that I look at it. I should have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9... No, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 22 units of lift, but obviously not enough. This craft is very testy to fly. I think I may have to move these back a bit. I think I'm getting too much drag ahead of center of mass. Center of mass is right around here, but I think these intakes are kind of messing with me. If I move them back, I'll have a lot stronger control on what's going on this craft. Something's wrong with my air intakes. There's gotta be. I should not be having this much problem. Diving too deep again. Come on. Alright, this craft is not going to space today. It's landed somewhere. Two ram airs should be enough for a single turbojet. These are turbojets. I didn't put the wrong engines on. But I'm just not keeping enough airflow into these engines to make it worth it. So we're going to go drop this thing off. Probably land it over there somewhere. And yes, for all you Deadly Re-Entry fans out there, this ship just blew up. Well, we've traveled halfway around Kerbin. Uselessly, but we've gone halfway around. Oops, well, that didn't quite go as planned. Oh, this is a bit bouncy, huh? There we go. Maybe? Or not. See. Oh, this is gonna be like landing on Duna. Alright. There. Eesh. Well, we got 32K back. 60%. Let's take a look at that. Okay, center of mass, center of lift. You're looking fine. These are a little in front of center of mass, but that shouldn't be that hairy. Huh. This engine is constantly burning out on me. It's getting starved. It's almost like I put the engines on wrong or something. Now, I'm not surprised these are having a hard time giving me lift. That's a lot of wing that it's got to go over to be able to do anything. Or I should say pitch control. These are doing decent work, but not good enough. Not sure where to go with this. Now let's do a couple of minor modifications here. We'll come back to this. I'm not sure what to do. Well, I was going to move on from this, but for some reason I just can't seem to let it go. Alright, I want to see if something works. We're going to drop these right here. Oops. See if I can even get air. Everybody out. Let's just see if this even functions. Yeah, it's not in its best place, I know. So, it is getting air, even though it's on the wrong side of these fuel tanks. How curious. Close drop down. We'll take off the brakes, what happens? There it goes. So we have definite intake. Alright. Well, that's broken, but fine. Let's see here. Alright, so let's put these things on in the right order. Now, the whole reason I did that was to get these intakes behind the center of mass. Lift looks good. I think a couple of struts, and this might be worth trying again. Okay, so we've lightened the plane a bit. We've put on extra lift. Let me try this again. Oh, it's certainly sturdier. This is following our direction a lot better now. Alright. Now, let's give this a go. Hey, I might actually make it to space this time. That burnout kind of screwed me up there in the middle of this. There we go. 40K and going to orbit. Alright. Now we just have to make sure I avoid bad burnouts. So it'll cost us 56 meters per second to circularize, roughly. Oh dear me, I don't have solar panels. That's going to be problematic. I forgot to put solar panels back on this. Oh my. And our rendezvous is going to be way out. Well, once I link up with the Ares Helm, I'll be able to get a recharge. So I'm not horribly concerned. As long as I can link up in a reasonable amount of time. So, we'll go take care of that. I'll let you know if anything interesting happens during this rendezvous. So I've made sure the Ares Helm is in a position where I want to use it. And I've got the mini tug here ready to go while we're waiting on the rendezvous for the taxicab too. The purpose of this piece is simply to attach to the front of the engines, and hopefully we can get them lined up and straightened out. We're going to see how well that works out. However, in the meanwhile, just to show you what's going on, I got a Clampotron docking port on the front, a very large RCS fuel tank, so I don't have to use the monoprop that's on the engines themselves to help move them. A advanced reaction wheel module up here. A battery, an octo, some Kerr, some RCS thruster packs, and some solar panels. Hopefully this works as expected. We shall see. Meanwhile, well, let's put it in space. Okay, looks like we should be alright, and off we go. Ah, looks like I messed up my rendezvous. The Ares Helm is way behind me, actually. Alright, so with that in mind, I have to get my orbit higher than his. Alright, so now we have 2 rendezvous waiting for the Ares Helm. Still need to get the wolves up, too. So for our final bit this episode, and we'll deal with our rendezvous and whatnot on the next one, we need to get the replacement wolves to orbit. Now, there were some adjustments that needed to be made. Well, let's start with basics. Get out, Jeb. Abort group. We're going to stick our panels, because I can. Now I need to figure out where to put our docking thrusters on. I suppose that works. I don't know if the down ones are blocked, though. I'm not trusting that. I think they'll work fine if I just put them up here. Now we just need to put these onto some kind of launcher. I was informed if I click and drag this right over that, I can just overwrite it. Nice! That's neat. Okay, great. Now, I think I had a launcher already set up for these last time. Now, there's still someone up in the station who will be able to fly these over, I think. Well, I'll have to make sure I leave a pilot behind up there so that he can pop out and go get these. But this should actually work out fine. So, let's strip that off. Strip that off. Alright, that should get us where we need to go. Let's put this in space. Well, actually, let's go see what our rendezvous looks like. And with fast forward as our friend, we have gotten the Ares Helm into a decent rendezvous position. So off we go. Sweet. So after we did a short burn of 27 meters per second just to adjust our ascending-descending node, and a incredibly uneventful launch, we find ourselves ahead of the Ares Helm again. And in 2 hours 5 minutes, we will come within 2.2 kilometers of it. That does bring me pretty tight to the taxi cab's timing too, so I am a little nervous. However, one thing I can do is I can extend the docking port on the taxi cab, and I could theoretically bring a wolf over to it, dock up, and recharge it that way if push comes to shove. So, we're going to get this into reasonable position first. So we will add that in. So, I have my plans. We'll see how well they work out. That's going to end this episode of The Agency, guys. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.